Okay, so still January 18th of 2025, City of Surrey, day 7. Okay, so I'm gonna upload this little video for the day, sort of thing. So this will probably go on to the video, well, the next video, right? Tisha is coming to pick up the kids, but before she leaves, she is gonna go outside and help me to just do a few things anyway to help my son. I let him know, I told him I didn't want to talk to him, and that we'll be out soon. I'm not trying not to poke the bear, right? So when he said, "Oh, gee, thanks, Mom, see you soon," whatever, I'm pretty sure he's feeling grateful for that. Okay, because I know what it's like being under this kind of pressure, people. Too many times under the City of Surrey at the whip of their fucking, I don't know. But I just wanted to point this out. LA wildfire crises growing. How landlords doubled rents overnight. This was posted 1 hour ago. And that's the name of the game. Kick out the tenant, get rid of the tenants by any means necessary so that you can double the rent overnight. And in some cases, more than double the rent overnight. Okay, so I'm in this cab, and of course, fights are breaking out between family members here. See what I mean? This is perfectly fine, but my son threw it out because I guess it's weather worn. It's not like you can paint it, right? It's just cheaper to go buy a new one. I suppose Mom's not going to be... That's what I mean, like, get rid of the junk, right? There's part of the playhouse. I don't know, people. Oh, boy. Anyway, I'm outside now. Alright. Yeah. Let's go walk on the walkway. Water's frozen. Fence needs to be put back up. Get out of here, Mickey. This should be covered up. This is, oh, so what did he take? He took the cover off this. Oh my God. Hold on. Okay, so this is my little pal. I get to go nuts. Okay, so this is the next day. It's the 19th of January of 2025. And the only reason I know it's the 19th right now, because I got a lot of pressure going on in my head and shit, is because I have to be at the Children's Hospital tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning, which means we have to leave the house no later than 9:30 tomorrow morning for Amari. All right. My son told me when it got dark last night that he was going to be outside at 7:30 this morning, and it's 10 o'clock this morning and there's frost everywhere. Everything is frozen, people. Okay? I'm just saying. Now, he put in, oh, I don't know. He started really early, and he finished about 4:30 yesterday, and I stayed out there right until dark, which was about 5:30. And he did all the heavy lifting all by himself. Yeah. As my landlady came by with the notices as to what I'm going to read now, okay? Walked him around. She wants him to cut the tree and empty out every single planter pot. Every single planter pot, people. Empty out the dirt wherever, chuck out all the planter pots. And I'm like, well, and I was there when she said that, right? And I said, well, Mrs. Gill, I know the city, they just don't like color. You know, because he has some really nice black ones. And they're hard to find, people. They're so fucking hard to find. And they're expensive to buy. They're throwing out expensive shit when it multiplies, right? If you're paying $30 per planter pot and you're throwing out, we'll just say 10 of them, okay, black ones. I don't care about the old blue one or the old green one, or what. I don't care about those people. Like, I'm just, right? But, you know, they don't want you to they don't care if you have flowers in your fucking yard. In the ground? No, I don't know. But whatever, like, okay. And I'm like, no, Mrs. Gill, that's black as the woman, you know, right? Because you can plant things in planter pots. No, city says, throw out everything. She's using the city against us, people. And she's playing the victim card while she's doing it. As her son and the rest of their family has offloaded the responsibility of them to do the yard work. Because ultimately, it's their responsibility for 14 years. Okay? Lying up into his face, telling him he's a nice fucking guy so that he'll work harder like the big nigger that he is. Because we're not Punjabi people. Or white trash. Or niggers. And you know I don't use the word niggers in my videos. Because for as nice as my landlady's son supposedly talked about my son as he was insulting me left, right, and center and blaming me for his lack of responsibility to help his mother and father with this yard for 14 years as they used it against me. They're working him like a slave, people. And then my landlady, by this time, I don't know, it was like 3 o'clock or something, so it wasn't so frosty. You know what I'm saying? And she tried to justify it by saying, oh, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. You know, it's not like in the middle of winter where it's real cold. Yeah, well, easy for you to say, Mrs. Gill. You got them lifting fucking half-frozen, if not frozen, waterlogged fucking shit that could have been dealt with in the summertime if your fake son, Corey, would have just been a decent human being and helped with the fence, repaired the fence with me, and then we could have looked around and say, okay, well, what can we do about this? And then we could have gotten a bin, and everything could have been dealt with. But no, that was not the agenda, people. The agenda was to let the shit pile up. It didn't matter where it fucking piled up, knowing I was going blind as a bat. Knowing that shit was going on with my stuff being thrown out, because it's not like my landlady didn't know because I fucking told her and she seen it, right? Knowing that I was helpless to do anything about anything that was going on around here because not one single person was being helpful around that situation, including her fucking fake son. What else would you call him? A real son? Why would you give me a fake name that your family doesn't even know what it is and then call yourself a son to them? Right? This is the kind of crap you have to deal with. Anyway, let's read this one. So January 12th. Untidy or unsightly premises. Legal description. The property. Section 15. R2PL, and then some numbers. Our records indicate
that you are the registered owner of the property. A recent inspection has revealed that the property is unsightly. Well, I could have told you that. I was asking for help. Nobody wanted to help. For your information, Surrey Property Maintenance and Unsightly Premises Bylaw 2007 something. So I need to find out when they stop spring cleanup. I need to. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't in and around that time. Yeah. Annual spring cleanup. When did they stop it? Because they use yards against people to manipulate them, control them, frighten them, terrorize them, evict them, so they can do backroom deals with the province as they're bringing in 10,000 immigrants at one time and flooding them into Surrey within a month or two. And they need to cough up housing in order to house those 10,000 immigrants, 10,000 Caesareans in one pop in 2016, 10,000 freaking Afghanistanians, who knows how many Punjabis, right? And now they got the Ukrainians coming in too, right? Because through the parliament with the BC, parliament buildings, listening to them every now and then under their budget or whatever, the word Ukrainians are coming up. So the Ukrainians need housing now. Well, where's the city of Surrey going to get housing from? All right. For your information, Surrey Property Maintenance and Unsightly Premise Bylaw, blah, 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 2007 number, okay, prohibits a property owner from allowing a property to become unsightly. At the time of our inspection, there was discarded wood. Well, yeah, because my son was gathering up shit already, people, and piling it up. He had been doing that already. He busted down the fucking playhouse, for crying out loud. Threw that into the pile, right? Was taking out old rotten wall units that were like in the garage, a rotten garage, mind you, right? That molded over a period of, well, I guess 13 and a half years, because I think he did that this summer. He took them out this summer, and then he yelled at me that they were moldy. And I said, well, yeah, they would be with a leaky garage, with them sitting in that garage from pretty much for the first year when I moved in, because that's when I put them in, and they weren't moldy. They were perfectly fine, because they came in from the inside of the house and ended up on the outside on the porch. Well, not on the porch, in the garage, and I lined, right? And I used that for whatever. And then they just sat there. And then over time, they got moldy because of the moisture in the garage, because it's an open garage that fucking leaks. That leaks. And not only does it leak, but it floods. Not once, not twice, but a few times. So nobody can be surprised. So he took it down because Marina was complaining about mold. And I didn't, whatever, like, I understand what you were doing. I don't care about that. I don't disagree with you either. But, the stuff like the water coolers and the water, they were big water jugs, right, that I used to use for the park or whatever, or even craft stuff that I used to do with the kids or whatever. It all ended up, well, the coolers and shit disappeared. But the broken down wall units, whatever it was, that ended up in the pile. And I got most of that actually thrown out in the garbage can as I was busting them up, filling up the garbage can for a period of couple of months, but not everything made it. But yeah, no, he was already going around doing that shit in his spare time. Okay. At the time of our inspection, I poked my eye. I almost killed myself last night. I wonder what would happen if something actually went into my eye I suppose it depends how deep it goes. Like if it went in probably an inch, you'd be okay. But if it went into like 2 or 3 inches, it's probably getting into your brain. I said to my son, I poked my eye, I said, but you know, God knew what he was doing when he made the face with the skull, with the eyes. Because it's not the first time I've poked my eye out there. As a matter of fact, I poked my eye out there last time fucking Soup came by. And that was just a couple of years ago when he had me cutting back everything because everything was fucking too green. They weren't complaining about wood and all that crap. They were just complaining about everything being too green. And he had me out there in freaking April cutting everything back. And I poked my fucking eye then, too. I even whacked him with something. Because I can't fucking see. Like a long, stemmy plant, whatever. Right? I grabbed it and I swung it. I almost hit Marcane grabbing and swinging because I can't see him standing there. He goes, whoa! And I'm like, well, I told you. Like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, like, God knew what he was doing when he made the skull, people. Because it's the skull that protects when things come. They, gravity, I guess. Because it was so close. So needless to say, it's a little irritated right now because I got pretty damn close to poking my eye out last night. My 2% vision, as my other landlord's son is accusing me that I'm not blind and that I can see. Yeah, okay. When I put in my long-term disability to the government, they're going to say, oh, well, no, even though the eye specialist says, yeah, you're illegally blind, even though the last time I put the application in, the eye specialist said that I'm legally blind, but now that I have a family doctor, I suppose he can confirm what the eye specialist said, as if the eye specialist would lie about that. What is my landlord's son? Is he going to go running to the welfare office and saying, no, that little bitch is lying? Somehow she convinced the eye doctor and the doctor to say that she's blind when in fact she's not. Because when we were out in the yard that time when I was threatening to do this and threatening and calling her this and insulting her that, she was looking me straight in the eye. Yeah, motherfucker, I was looking you straight in the eye with this one with 13 fucking % visions. That's the only reason why you knew I could connect with your ass. Like, walk in my shoes, motherfucker, your time's coming. And I hope the hell nobody feels sorry for you when you go blind, because you're not out of the woods yet, because it already runs, glaucoma already runs in your family because your father has it. And not everybody is so lucky. Especially when they get dickered around by the government through orders where you can't get a referral to get eye drops. But I'm sure your family doctor will look after you fine. You'll always have your eye drops. So therefore, you'll never go blind with glaucoma. And because you didn't go blind with glaucoma, or your dad didn't go blind with glaucoma, I guess everybody else won't go blind with glaucoma as long as they follow doctor orders, assuming that you can get a doctor. Right? Only some people can have doctors where other people get targeted in the province of British Columbia, Canada, where they can't. Well, I have one now. Anyway, prohibits a property owner from allowing a property to become unsightly. Okay. At the time of our inspection, there was discarded wood. Well, we know my son was already doing shit. He was already cleaning up. Okay. Right? Inside and out. Inside the garage, a broken down fucking garage that never's been repaired except for the one time when my son, or in terms of the landlord, right, did pay a little money for my son to have his friends come over, and they ran a few beams across, a few, because they're rotten out, where the other end of the garage, those beams are the same beams that were when I moved in, and they're rotten, and they haven't been replaced. The point is the point was leaky. The porch was leaky. The garage is leaky. Everything in there is leaky. And it's molding up everything that's in there. It's just a matter of time. I have never had so much of my shit get ruined anywhere in all my life as I have in this year, in this house. Every year, fucking every year, it doesn't matter. Things get thrown out, ruined, whatever. Every year. From the first year I moved in. Yeah, from the first fucking year I moved in. Well, you know, the carpet downstairs needs to be changed. It's been needed to be changed for years because of the mildew. Because when the water comes into the garage, and if it happens to get into the laundry room, it goes underneath the floorboards, right? And then, you know, because there's no moisture barrier on the cement, all that does is breed mildew. Discarded wood. Cut vegetation. Because I didn't have the energy to go out there and get them into the compost or whatever and like break them up and stuff, right? To help feed the dirt or whatever. And I asked my son to maybe come and take this chainsaw to it or something. But he got busy and that didn't get done. And then he ended up, Mrs. Gill was asking him to clean up. So then he started running around, raging, gathering up shit, piling up shit, right, getting ready to take it out. But she never came back with the bin. She never offered to bin. So it just sat there, right? He did say, though, he would take it to the dump, but then I guess maybe he realized it was too much. And nobody said anything, so it just sat there. And then he did the porch. He fixed the porch. That added more wood to the pile. Cardboard. The cardboard is for making dirt. So basically what I did yesterday is I got into that cardboard because it was piling up, right? And Andre, I'd tell him to do, you know, take it out, put your food scraps, you know, go grab this and lay it, flatten it, and then instead he was just throwing it. It was piling up. Anyway, I flattened everything now. And I've already made mini, I guess you could say, mini little garden beds that are covered up, that will sit covered up with a bunch of fucking wood chips on top of it to make it look nice. And it will sit there like that for a couple of years so that when you get up underneath it, eventually there's going to be some kind of dirt in there that you can actually use and call it soil. Yeah. Upholstery. Well, I don't know what kind of upholstery. Okay, there's a chair out in the front that I need. I brought it home for Amari because we know that he has special needs, so that must be what they're talking about, because I don't know what kind of upholstery they're talking about outside of that one lone chair that's really sturdy that I can use to put Amari in with his car seat where it won't tip over as he's reaching. But they don't want you to have anything. You see, that's the thing. So whether my son, I asked him not to throw it out. I explained to him what I needed it for. Right. And eventually, I'd like to put it someplace where it's stationary and I can tie it and strap it, you know, like strap it onto something where if I put his car seat there, right, strap it in, and then, because he moves people, you know, right? And God forbid if the chair flips over. But it's very sturdy, and if I strap it onto something, it will work. Because if I have him too close to the ground, you know, he gets cold because he doesn't run around. If I'm doing yard work for my landlords, like it's a problem. Because I've brought Amari out there, you know, but he gets cold, so I have to be careful. Siding, well, that's gone. And all the fences are broken now. If I would have had help in the last 2 years, like that fake Corey said that he was going to do, all the fences would be up right now. But they're not. They're all falling down and broken. Bins. My son was kind of like, what is, like, if I have, okay, he didn't quite understand that. And if they're talking about garbage bins and those kind of bins, when the fucking shit grows around here and you're doing the daily weeding, whether it's morning glory or whatever, or the weeds, don't forget, we had the Norway maple out there that used to drop its leaves, right? You know what I'm saying? You need those garbage bins to fill up all that shit. Okay? It's a lot of work, this yard, people. So I don't know what kind bins he's talking about, but it could be other little bins that were out in that pile that had perfectly good school stuff, books and shit in there that my son threw out there because it was inside the garage, probably getting mildewy, and he thought, fuck it, Mom didn't move it after he took it out of the basement or whatever, and he just threw it in there. So maybe that's what they're talking about. It could be anything. Toys. So you're not allowed to have toys. Because I told you, he was moving toys to the back. When I did that video, he put that children's little kitchen set out there, the little lawnmower, you know, he busted up the fucking fort, you know, whatever, okay? So he's been throwing shit out there because there is really no toys in the front, people. And that playhouse, or not that playhouse, that little kitchen set was in the front at one point there briefly, or whatever it may be, and then my son moved it to the back, and I'm like, oh God. He ended up moving it up to the front where the wood chip pile is, and I don't know if somebody ran off with it and took it because it was out on the road, or if it was just pushed off to the side. The point is they listed toys as the crime of the century. Windows, that's along the side of the house there, right? Those windows were used against me when when the landlord came to threaten the bins to evict my house because they wanted me to kick out my son because I wasn't paying at least $3,500 a month. My son is going to try and sell those windows. Propane tanks, well, first of all, it's only one. Maybe two. And that's only because he goes camping. Cinder blocks. When he tore up the playhouse, I had built a subfloor on that playhouse, and I put a bunch of, well, I wouldn't call them cinder blocks, but any kind of blocks. When they tore up the basement bathroom to fix that pipe, all that cement that they chiseled out with a whatever they do ended up outside, and then my landlady expected me to get rid of it, and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't, people, I didn't. You're talking cement, whatever, cement. You know, the bathroom, you know, you have a bathroom and you cement over the floor. It's a cement fucking floor. And then they put their fucking vinyl on top. They chiseled it all out to get to the pipe. So I had all these big chunks of all this fucking cement chisel shit that ended up in the back because they didn't take it with them. And then my landlady wanted me to get rid of it. Well, I ended up taking those things for the most part, and I put them underneath the playhouse under a piece of wood as a floorboard to keep the rats out, versus just putting the playhouse. I had to level it out and give it a wood floor, right? So when my son ripped up and destroyed the playhouse, he left those there because he hadn't moved them yet. But he would have removed them when he was going to move the pile, but they didn't give him enough time to finish doing what he was doing, okay? Because he was already starting to clear out shit. Not only for himself, because he wanted whatever. He didn't want that playhouse there anymore, okay? Or whatever. Pots. They're talking planter pots. Well, my landlady is saying get rid of each and every one of them. I'm saying, like, well, you know, you do realize that we're getting into thousands of dollars here because some of this stuff is good stuff. It would cost you $30, $35 to go buy some of these planter pots that she wants him to throw out. Okay? Tarps. My son goes camping. Sometimes he throws his tarps out there. Whatever. So they want the tarps gone. Furniture. I don't know what kind of furniture that's out there in the back. Outside of a well, it's not a broken down chair. You know those white plastic chairs. He threw that into the pile. We know we got the one up in the front that I need for Amari because of his disabilities. I don't know. Metal. Well, that would be just a few pieces. Garden hose. Because they want you to go out and buy new garden hose and not piece old garden hoses together with clamps. I suppose. Drywall. I don't know what kind of drywall is out there. If there is, it's not very much. Like very little. Gardening tools. Well, they came on a day when he was already, don't forget, Mrs. Gill asked him on January 1st to start cleaning up the yard. And so he had 12 days to start. And yeah, he was taking tools out in the front as he was starting to clean the yard for her. Okay? Telling me to go inside and close the door. Otherwise, you know, he'll go inside. In other words, leave him alone. Let him do it his way. And I'm like, okay. Right? So perhaps he left a few tools out there. A shovel, pitchfork, whatever. Okay? I'm just saying. And other sundry. Sundry. What does sundry items mean? On the property. Making it unsightly. So for 12 days he was going around in his spare time after work, starting to gather up shit and piling it up even more than what was already there. We know that what was already out there should have been dealt with fucking a year ago, a half a year ago, or whatever, okay? I'm just saying. We know that the vinyl siding could have been dealt with, and the fences would be fine. I'm surprised they didn't complain about the broken fences. Well, yeah, because it's not about the landlord and their broken fences with their wood piling up in the pile out there with the, you know, the cedar beams, like the cedar boards, right? God forbid if he threw them out, because nothing I can do about trying to repair them now, except maybe run fucking chicken wire across there. But I'm not spending one red fucking cent. No way. I'm done spending money. If I do got chicken wire in my yard, a little bit, but it won't be enough to fucking fix the fence. I can tell you that right now, and it sure in hell won't be strong enough. I begged for 2 fucking years to have help to fix the fucking fence. But if you notice, the city never mentioned anything about the damn fence. Isn't that interesting? Because it would be kind of hard for my landlords to dispute that now, wouldn't it? Right? But they have never fixed the fence. 14 years, not once, because they had me out there as a nigger fixing their fucking fence. Right? And then my landlady is like, in the back there, right, telling him to get rid of it, pots, flower pot, and I'm like, these ones are black, they're nice, Mrs. Gill. You know, they cost my, oh, no, she says get rid of the flower pots, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. And now she's asking him to cut back the pine tree, right, or the spruce tree, the big one right here, to cut. Now, it's already high. My son already does that for her people. He's already gone around pruning this, and he cut the Norway maple, pruned it back before the city even came and cut down the fucking tree, right? He already keeps that tree groomed, I guess you could say, where it's not, right? And she wants him to go higher up the branches and cut the fucking branches off, right? And because I don't know what the hell she's thinking, man. And he says, I've already done it. And I said, look, Mrs. Gill, he's already done it. Like you can see, the canopy of the branches is high up, right? It's not anywhere near it. Oh, well, it needs a little more. And my son is saying, yeah, well, I like it, Mrs. Gill, but whatever. Like, and that's another thing. You cut those branches, you cut them off on the trunk. Cut. What happens is you make it so that the tree can't balance itself. So you cut too many of those branches, the tree will end up really fucking falling down. Just anything to bitch, man. And then, I'm like, no, Mrs. Gill, like he already does that. Can't you see? It's not anywhere near you, these branches. He's always pruning them and keeping them at bay up there, right? Oh, well, you're always, and then he goes, my mom's just upset. And she goes, yeah, your mom is always mad. I looked at her, I said, Mrs. Gill, I said, stop lying. That is not true. I've not always been mad about this yard, people. Only when I'm being gang-stalked over it. Only when I'm being worked like a fucking dog, and have games be played against me. Or I'm cooking in the kitchen and I get called to go outside. Next thing you know, I'm being threatened with fucking bin to have my whole house fucking vacated because I don't pay $3,500 a month. They're telling me to kick out my son. Like, why? Right? And then, they're fucking plotting and scheming, and then 6 months fucking later, it's something else. And then it's something else. If I'm mad all the time, people, why? I sit here and conspire to make myself mad for absolutely no fucking reason? I just like being mad? Yeah, sure. No, Mrs. Gill. I jumped in 2 feet when I realized what was going on with this yard, and I gave it my fucking best. And the only time I ever got mad is when I got harassed and abused by your people. And neglected and abused. And the city of Surrey is her people because they work together. That's why they took away the annual spring cleanup. Because then they can empower the landlords to do what they do to tenants like me. They're just going to move somebody else in to take over the fucking weeds. That's all, if they manage to get us out. Yeah. Because they'll never be satisfied. Ever, people. Because they want that $4,800, $4,500, $4,000 a month. Forget the $35,000. That was last year's rate. Now it's $4,045, and we know with everything that I built, after all the riffraff is out of the yard, they can get $48,000 and a new sucker in here to pick up the job. As they praise them that they're doing such a good job at managing the weeds. Because they're fresh. Coming in fresh off the boat, full of fucking energy and willing to please their landlord. Yeah, that's the game, people. And pay out of their noses, but they're not paying out of their noses because they're being propped up by federal, provincial, and municipal governments to cover the costs of the demands of the corrupt homeowners. And my eyes are going dark. I think I was wearing these ones. Oh God, now I can't see shit. Now everything's blurry because I rubbed my eyes. I don't know how long. Oh my God. I don't know how long it's going to take to come back. Holy shit. Because everything went dark. That's what happened. Oh my Lord. Maybe this will help. Oh, Lord, I don't know. You are asked to remedy the situation within 14 days. Yeah, get that nigger outside working. Yep, put that whip on his back. But while you're doing it, tell him he's a great stud. To boost his ego, so he'll work harder for you. Of the date of this letter, if you do not comply with this request, the city will enter onto the property and carry out the required work. The work will be done at your expense. Well, yeah, because they got rid of annual spring cleanup so that they could terrorize the tenants. Moving them around like slaves when they want to evict them, just use the yard to do it. Enough times and you'll get it. You'll get your, right? At your expense, including taxes and administrative costs. And if you do not pay the cost to the city by December 31st, the cost will be added to and form part of the taxes payable on the property as taxes in arrears. In addition to being responsible for the cost, you may be subject to prosecution for an offense under the bylaw. So they're threatening you with court. See, my eyes are, okay? In addition to being responsible for the cost, you may be subject to prosecution. So they're threatening us with court. And then that's how she uses, oh, I can't deal with it, And her son, you're giving my mama and dad a heart attack. It's all your fault. We just let you live in dirt for 14 years. Raccoon shit, mud, water drainage problems, fucking grit, sand, gravel rocks, weeds. Don't forget that famous morning glory, right? And with you living and all that, it didn't matter. No, it didn't fucking matter what happened to you because you're just a fucking nigger, a white one at that. Yeah, okay. And now they can use the city because the city is threatening them. This letter is to inform you. So this one was dated January 12th. Oh, and by the way, they only put numbers down in terms of the bylaw officer. They don't put names. So that could be Sook. Because if you notice, whoever came to the door didn't want to be seen. Did not want to be seen. And even if it's not Sook, they all work in the same building. They're all friends and co-workers. They're already taking their bribes and work in partnership with whatever agenda is going on for that fucking year. I'm just saying. Regard bylaw notice, and then this is something else. This letter is to inform you that you are alleged to have contravened the Surrey property maintenance and unsightly premise bylaw. Okay, there's that one. The bylaw notice enforcement violation ticket is enclosed. Details regarding the contravention. My son must be sick. For the amount of work that he did yesterday, lifting all that fucking crap, all by himself, I don't hear nobody moving. And I have to go out there and finish doing at least what I was working on yesterday. And then tomorrow morning, walk like an 85-year-old woman to the children's hospital. Because I'm not really feeling, well, that's not true. My back is really getting achy. But my hand's just a little stiff. But I'm shaky. I'm shaky because I'm not used to this, right? Never mind in the fucking cold. With that whip on our back. The bylaw notice enforcement violation ticket is enclosed. Details regarding the contravention, the penalty, and how to pay or dispute the allegations is specified on the violation ticket. You see, I'm suspicious about all this, people, because they had me out on the yard for 10 months. 10 months with Sook. And then he came back at a later date, a different time, and started the process all over again. Because they have to build a case. That's exactly what it is. Right? The sole purpose to have me move into this family, when they stay as you want, take it now, stay as long as you want, we'll never raise the rent, was to deal with their yard. And there was enough income between everybody, between John and Joan and myself, to pay the rent. So that's all they cared about. Pay the rent and do the yard. Because they already knew who I was before I moved in. Because somehow they know, because they all go to the same temple, man, these people. The people that I moved in from, where I left, had a particular paint on their walls, to which the same color paint was downstairs. It was a god-awful brown, dark, dingy color on the walls in the hall. And just with the same kind of stupid attitude, I moved in and every freaking pipe outside, inside was leaking. All the taps and everything. Well, there was pipes leaking in the walls too. But it took me a while to figure that one out. All the outlets, every single one was sparking in this house and had to be replaced upstairs, downstairs. And then, of course, the yard. They needed somebody to do their yard for them. That's why they never helped. It was a big setup. That's all it ever was. So this is a notice. And I'm not trying to trivialize, people, the possibility that the property owner, quote unquote, Mrs. Gill, isn't being abused by the city herself. But the simple fact is the city took away the annual spring cleanup. But by taking away the annual spring cleanup, they made it where property owners and the city can work together incognito and conspire to evict tenants without getting caught because they're using a yard that was neglected by the landlord. Because the landlord not only doesn't want to do the work, but they don't want to pay the cost of anything. Outside of oh my god. Hold on a minute. Okay, so we know that she wasn't satisfied with the $100 that we offered in rent, as in terms of a quote-unquote rental increase. It should have been $75, but last year we paid $200 increase in rent in an 8-month period, okay? I'm just saying, people. So if that's the case, they're not, they're not happy with the 100 that they got on January 1st, starting February 1st. They got me now paying for a bin, at least a third of it, and God knows how much that's going to be, because they got my nigger son running around. I'm going to just say it the way it is, people, because you have to remember, I've been around these people for a long fucking time, as if my kids weren't fucking called niggers long before the Gills ever showed up from a freaking Punjabi. Okay, why do you think their kids see us as niggers and white trash? Because they learn it from their parents, bottom line. And then when the kids spill the beans and let them know exactly what they think about them, the parents will come along like Wally and reprimand them. But did Wally treat me like a nigger? No. Did he treat my kids like fucking niggers and white trash? No. Do the Gills? Well, I don't know, people. You be the judge on that. You tell me what you think after 14 fucking years. Okay? I'm just saying. I don't get sick, per se. I'm sick in a different kind of way, right? Worn out in that kind of way. I don't know if I don't think I have a fever. I might. I don't know what I should do. Put on the dirty clothes. I already hanged them up, let them dry so I can put them on today. Right? I'm just waking up. Because I get up at 6 in the morning with Amari or whatever. I don't have full sleeps. I don't sleep well, right? And so they're dry. So it's easy enough for me to put on those dirty clothes and go back outside and work until dark. I told my son I'd come out around noon, maybe 1 o'clock. It's not quite that time yet, because there's ice out there, people. Everything's frozen. He's not out there. He didn't go out at 7:30 in the morning. Because he's probably fucking sick. Right? He's probably fucking sick. They had him moving we're talking a ton of weight here, okay? All by himself. Like the nigger boy that he is, as they're saying, oh, he's such a nice guy. Yeah, right. We're letting him have control. Let him get mad at you so he can get pissed off and work harder. Yeah, because you know what happens when people get pissed off? They fucking work harder. Right, with that whip on their back. Like, I'm not sugarcoating this shit, people. There was lots of time to deal with this fucking crap. It never had to come to this, but it did. And it did for a reason, because they're cornering me through that. Mean son, this is your last warning. We have enough documentation with the city. Yeah, because you're working with the city. You're 2 fucking peas in a pod, looking to maximize every penny that you can out of this fucking house with the next tenants that are being subsidized coming in off the boat. That's exactly what's going on here. If you don't move in the fucking UN soldiers and stack 'em, pack 'em, 8 to a fucking suite, 8 upstairs, 8 downstairs, make each one pay $500 a month. Boom. Yeah. I know how it works. And then you use an old woman and an old man, I suppose. You don't even let Mr. Gill come around anymore because you don't want him to care about me. So you keep him hidden away like a dirty secret, kind of like an Uncle John. Yeah, because you know Mr. Gill would say something. But he's not allowed to. He's treated like an Uncle John now, hidden away like a dirty secret. And when you do see him and you get a chance to talk to him, you can only talk to him for 5 fucking minutes. And by the time you see him, you burst out in fucking tears because you have nobody else there in that whole family that can actually fucking understand even an inkling of what maybe I'm going through. Yeah. Maybe Mr. Gill was a fucking slave one time, and maybe that's why he feels that we're family in a past life, because we were both fucking field niggers out in the fucking field with the whip on our back, and maybe he understands, and that's why he fights for me. But he's never allowed to come around anymore. Never mind talk to me for even 5 minutes. I'd have to talk to him for 5 minutes just to let the fucking tears come flying out, and then maybe they can go away and I can talk to him, but they don't even give him that opportunity. But they sure in the hell do hide. The whole family hides behind an old woman and uses the old woman as a tool, as if everything that's fucking wrong with this place is all my fucking fault. When none of them picked up not even one little teeny weeny fucking pinky finger to help. They use it as a tool, this yard, to hurt my family and to manipulate the politics in the community in partnership with the fucking city. Okay, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but it's just a bylaw notice with my landlady's name on it. And it's just an officer issuing number. I guess he gets bonuses. He's working on his bonuses for the end of the year. Right? Oh, this, I think, is the fine. It's a $250 fine. So now they're fining the landlords. She said to me that one of her other tenants is always causing trouble, a basement tenant. And I guess the city has been there a couple of times. And they fine her $750. And I guess here they only fine, Marcane read it, I don't see it. She told me $350, but he's seen $250, so I don't know how $350 ended up being $250. Maybe she didn't read it right because she's all stressed out, right? Who knows? I can't even see where it says it. But my son, oh no, it says $350 right here. So oh no, $250. Oh, it has to be paid early in the amount of. But she wants $350 if it's a late payment. So she's asking me for $350 because she's going to pay it late, so that she can get that extra $100 out of me. Because that's all it ever is money. She's got money to pay the $250. What the fuck? Oh my God, people. So I'm going to give her $250. And then she'll say, no, I want $350. And I'll be, yeah, but you told my son that you were going to pay it on time. But I couldn't. Oh, okay. I don't even know when it's due. It's a fucking setup, people. So here's the question. I have to go to the children's hospital tomorrow morning with Amari. I gotta get up early, and Tisha's gonna help me give him a bath or whatever, and it takes an hour just to drive there by car. And I'm gonna be there for several hours because I got 2 appointments. The first one's at 10:30 in the morning to discuss circumcision and that kind of stuff, right? And then the big one, the one that gives me a heart attack, is in the afternoon with the hips, to which I wanted to mention to you, for whatever strange reason, I guess Amari started gagging when we were all outside. Tisha was outside, Marcane was outside, and I was outside in the fucking dirt with those cardboard boxes, laying them down, getting them ready to move the wood chips, okay, or whatever, to build dirt for what, the next fucking tenant? Or is it for the bulldozer to come down and bulldoze down the fucking house and everything else with it and throw it in the big ass bins and throw everybody out into the fucking streets after they made their fucking $1 million on rent? Whoever's gonna have this place after the fact. Either or. There'll be dirt, soil, good soil there. So Andre comes to the window. I'm going to leave it on this, people. Andre comes to the window. I'm not sure if I'm going outside or not. Like, I feel like I have to go outside because I only have so much energy, people. Anyway. Andre comes to the window. He says, Nana, Amari was gagging. That's all it took, people. I said, what? He goes, Amari was gagging. I said, gagging? That could be anything, people. right? Like, so I guess Tisha heard it, Marcaine heard it. Whatever they were doing, they dropped it and they beelined into the house. So by the time I got to the steps, Tisha and Marcaine were already in the fucking house. And I'm now at the door saying, because I know they're in here, right? I said, what's going on with Amari? What's going on with Amari? Tisha brought him outside, and he was okay. The point is, everybody went into immediate panic mode, dropped what they were doing, and bolted at top speed to get to Amari. You gotta have that fucking heart of steel. That's what I said. Clearly they have that heart of steel, because it's enough that we're already out there with this shit, with what the city is doing with my landlord, okay? And I do believe that with her being a landlord for as long as she has been, with the amount of houses that she's owned, and with her idea of what, I don't know, I do believe they're working together for profit. One way or another, they're working together for profit. Because if the city is bringing in immigrants at the direction of the province, before they would allow to take, as the province is saying, you have to house them. Here are 10,000 Syrians. They're coming in off the boat at such a date. You, the city of Surrey, has to come up with 10,000 housing units or whatever to house them as soon as they get here. The city's going to say, well, we can't afford that. They're going to say, yeah, well, here, we'll give you X amount of dollars per household to start the process as we plug them into the federal, municipal, and provincial. Welfare is provincial. Federal is the baby tax and baby bonus, child tax benefit bonuses, those kind of things. So they're all coming in, a lot of them are coming in with families, except for the UN soldiers. They come in by themselves. But it's easy enough to deal with them because they stack and pack them into fucking houses that they kick out everybody from, and then just move in the UN soldiers and put them to fucking work to tear down more fucking houses with their big fucking trucks. That it's okay for them to sit outside in front of dinky little freaking ranchers. But my son's not allowed to have his truck out there. Like, how does that make sense? Either or. I didn't see anything in there that listed a fucking vehicle in the front yard, at least at this point. But if you're working with the landlord and you're trying to, accomplish a certain kind of picture so that you can put the house up for sale within the year, because the big fishes are you never know when somebody's going to come and scoop up this shit. It only takes one big fish to buy all 3 properties, as that big fish there is tearing down 7 of them all in one pop. This is highly organized. This is a highly organized cartel. This is a highly organized mob. This is a highly organized syndicate, criminal syndicate. This is a highly organized criminal organization where there's a lot of kickbacks involved. So, if the province is telling the city they have to house 10,000 immigrants, regardless of who they are, within a certain amount of time, but there's no housing to house them, the city has to create the housing. But before the city would commit to that, they'd want kickback from the province to make sure that they had the money to do the things that they fucking do. And this is just one example of it, people. But before they can do what they do, they had to take away, are you listening to me? They had to take away the annual spring cleanup so that the landlords and the city bylaw officers that are working in cahoots with each other had an excuse to attack tenants and then use yards against them to open up a house so that they can get more kickbacks with higher rent, with guaranteed payments from all these government agencies, as well as who knows what bonuses the city gets for housing another immigrant family on top of what they're already getting from the province. Yeah. That's what's happening. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to make myself sick for tomorrow. But I feel like I have to because, I only have so much energy. Right? And it might get colder because we're going into a cold snap. All right? I don't know what the temperature is. Let's see what the temperature is right now. Let's see what time it is. That's what I mean. They got you out in the fucking... practically in the snow. The dirt that's in these planter pots, some of these planter pots that they want my son to empty out, whether there's flowers in them or not, they don't care. There could be flowers growing up in those planter pots. They don't care. They don't fucking care, people. They want, including my landlord, just throw it out. Whatever. Right? It's fucking frozen. This shit's frozen. Fucking frozen. I'm stepping on busting up frozen dirt to layer those cardboard boxes that I get from Canadian Superstore when I order food. And I'm like, okay, well, here's an opportunity to make dirt, but there's only so much energy, right? But I'm making it now. Look, I want to cry. Yeah, I wanted to cry. I cried a little bit yesterday, but it didn't help. I thought it would. I could force myself to try and cry it out, right? Because it's building, just sitting there, right? And I said, come on, Judy, just even a few tears. Think of something really sad. Sadder than what you're going through. It didn't work. Mm. 2 degrees Fahrenheit. (10:55 a.m.) They'll have it at 2 degrees Fahrenheit. 2 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 degrees Celsius? I don't know. Oh no, it's 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now, at 11 o'clock in the morning, it's 35 degrees Fahrenheit. It's colder than a fridge, with everything frosted up. And the ice pond frozen. And my son is not out there, which tells me that he's not feeling very well, considering what he did yesterday. Yeah. What would happen if I put field nigger in my title? City of Surrey treats its residents like field niggers. Yeah. Basically.